Hello, welcome to Matrix Live. Today's date is the 28th of March 2019. This broadcast will actually go out tomorrow, so it'll be the 29th. For those people who are keeping count, it is Season 3, Episode 19. My name is Ben, you see me as Ben Parr, and I am here with Christian, who you will know as Krille. He is the lead, and I think maybe...
Hi.
Hello. Maybe only developer on FluffyChat. FluffyChat, very popular client for Ubuntu Touch. So, hello, Christian.
Hi.
So, what have you been working on lately?
I'm currently working on end-to-end encryption for FluffyChat, and also I'm thinking about maybe creating a new backend for FluffyChat or switching the backend. Which is very related to the end-to-end encryption, because FluffyChat is mostly, at the moment it's completely in QML and JavaScript, and end-to-end encryption will be in C and C++. So
interesting. Okay, so I did wonder. I mean, that's a question that I've got written down. Is how do you implement end-to-end encryption? Given it's literally JavaScript on top of QML. Which is something very unfamiliar to me. So tell me about how a new backend would work with the current structure.
The current backend is in QML and JavaScript, and I'm currently thinking about rewrite this backend in the same way in C++, just to see if this could give some performance advantages. And because end-to-end encryption will be in C, I don't think that it's so a good idea to do this in JavaScript too for better security. So I will make this in C and C++. Also, so the end-to-end encryption will be in C because it is the libOlm library, which is created by you. And the C++ plugin will create some bindings to call the necessary functions from the QML and JavaScript side. Okay,
so this sounds like a huge undertaking. So just to clarify, you are not implementing the Olm algorithm itself. You will use an existing implementation in C. Yeah. Okay. And the work that you will do in order to integrate this, it will entail you changing the backend to be C++ with QML. And then you'll have bindings into Olm and then into the UI.
Yes, maybe. So I'm currently thinking about it. There isn't a decision yet.
Yeah, I mean that's still a huge. I mean it's a major change to the way FluffyChat is today, which is to say it's entirely JavaScript.
Yes, more or less, it is a major change. Yes, okay. But it wouldn't change the user experience at all, I guess. Maybe with C++ backend, the app will become faster and more responsive.
Yeah. Is that expected in QML apps that you'd start with JavaScript and then switch to something else?
Mostly it is you have a C++ backend and you only use QML to create a user interface for it. Yes, but also you are able to write JavaScript code directly in QML files. Yeah. And so you are able to create a complete app with a complete business logic in QML. Right. And this is what I've done with FluffyChat so far.
And is that something common? Because I'm always very confused when I look at the FluffyChat repo to not see any code. It's all hidden inside the markup.
It is maybe a matter of taste if you do it this way, or normally way from the with C backend, or you can use Python backends or other programming languages, of course, as a backend. Yeah, and using only QML and JavaScript is maybe not so often.
Okay. All right. No, I mean, it's, as you say, it's a matter of taste. I'm not very familiar with QML, and it was always surprising to me to look at the FluffyChat repo. So let's go down that road. How did you end up building a QML, JavaScript, Ubuntu Touch matrix client? These things seem to be there's a lot of subcategories there that you've picked out. So how did you make the decision to do that?
Maybe because I just want a native Ubuntu Touch Messenger app.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that is your daily driver, is it? Ubuntu Touch. I've got it running here.
Yes, it is my daily driver, and the thing I've missed was a Messenger app with this decentralized. Yay!
Yeah.
Awesome.
But there is the FluffyChat chat there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
And there, at the time when I joined the UB community and the Ubuntu Touch at all, there was only one messenger client with push notifications, and that was Telegram.
Mm-hmm.
Telegram is great and has a great user experience, but I like the idea of decentralization. So I tried to create a new messenger app to create a decentralized messenger with push notifications. That was very important for me. That's another big topic why push notifications are very interesting on Ubuntu Touch. Okay. But that was the main reason for me to start with it.
Okay, so what makes Ubuntu Touch different from, let's just say Android? What's the difference there? I take it there's nothing like the Google services that enable touch for those devices.
Yes, there are no Google services of Ubuntu Touch, of course. It's a complete different operating system for smartphones. And the big difference is, for me, the push notification service. Because before Ubuntu Touch, I've used Lineage OS or Android without Google services for privacy reasons. And the problem is when you use it that way, you can no longer use the Google push notification service. This can be not so good for your battery.
Yeah. Well, even we see this with F-Droid applications, right? There's a version for Riot available for F-Droid. It has the exact same problems.
Yes, that's the thing. And Ubuntu Touch has its own push notification service. That's very great, and it has a push notification service I can trust and I can use because the guy who is controlling this service, I know him. I've met him in Vienna. He's a nice guy.
Okay. That's not a very scalable solution, though, is it?
Yes, of course. But also there are some efforts to maybe make the push notification service from Ubuntu Touch decentralized too. So that's an idea at the moment, but maybe in the future this can become true. Yeah. I would think that this would be really great. But first of all, I've got a operating system with push notifications, which I can use to create an app, which is using push only and no background service. And that was amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean that's exactly what you wanted, right? It was to be able to have push notifications in a messaging app, and something other than Telegram. So yeah. I mean that's really great. How long ago did you start the project? It's like more than a year now.
I started with FluffyChat in May 2018.
Okay, so nearly 1 year. All right, yes. That's pretty long. And what do you think about you've been running a small community, just people who are using the chat, and I've joined in there, and it seems to be a pretty fun group of guys. They spent a lot of time getting me set up with with Ubuntu Touch, which even on my lovely little 1+1 was not the easiest configuration job ever. But yeah, have you had any experience running a community like that before, or is it just that they've come because you're the creator?
They just come into the chat. Also, first of all, I've pushed the first version of FluffyChat in the Open Store. That's the App Store on Ubuntu Touch, and also provided a matrix chat room for if someone has problems, he can tell me and I can try to fix his problems. And then a lot of very great people, very nice people came to this chat, and it was a very funny group. And I have to say, this community is awesome. The community is full of nice people, and
You're thinking the Ubuntu Touch community or the Matrix community?
The Ubuntu Touch community, but also the Matrix community, of course. Sure, also. But first of all, I was in the Ubuntu Touch community, and more later I joined the Matrix community too. So,
how many people are using Ubuntu Touch? Because it's definitely a minority among operating systems.
That's a good question, and the answer is that nobody can know it.
I see.
The problem is the most the UbiPorts developers and most of the Ubuntu Touch users are very want privacy, and so there is no user tracking in Ubuntu Touch. But that also means that nobody can say how much users are currently using Ubuntu Touch.
Okay.
So maybe it are around 5,000, 10,000, or 10 millions.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. There's no centralized data source. I mean, it's a lot like Matrix.
Yeah.
There's no good centralized source for this data. Okay, so but then you decided that it was enough to have a client. You first of all you wanted the client for yourself, I think, rather than to have a huge usage of it. But you think that there's enough users to be using the software?
Yeah. Yes. Of course, I wanted a client for me at first. It was just an idea. I would like to have such a client. Maybe I can create this by myself. And that was for me enough to start with it. So
awesome. And why are there so many Matrix clients for Ubuntu Touch? There's Umatrix and then FluffyChat as well. That seems like a lot of clients. Obviously, Umatrix came first. But is development continuing on Umatrix? Do you know?
It is. Umatrix was first. That's right, and also Umatrix has more developers. There are more other users, more other developers working on it at the moment, and FluffyChat was later. And you can say. You can ask why I have started with FluffyChat when there is Umatrix, and that's a good question. The answer is that, first of all, I just wanted to create a decentralized client, not a Matrix client. The first idea was to create an XMPP client.
Right. Okay.
And the funny story is, when I started to create this, I first created the graphical user interface, then try to create a backend. And working with XMPP is funny, but was a little bit complicated and not so easy. And especially the push notifications on XMPP are not easy because a lot of XMPP servers don't support push notifications still.
Right. Yeah.
And just for fun, it was just let's play with Matrix, this protocol I feared about. Let's see how this is working, and it was very easy to implement. Very, very easy, because it's just HTTPS requests, which are necessary for it, and long polling. And push notifications always also are HTTPS, so it was very easy to create a push gateway, which is compatible with the UbiPorts push service. And so after some days of development, I've got a working client with push notifications. And so I decided to continue on this. But I also, like Umatrix, I'm using both clients because the problem is there's none of these clients is using multiple accounts. Right. Multiple accounts can be very complicated to implement. And maybe it can be easier to create two clients than create one client with multiple accounts.
Okay.
So I think it's a good thing.
Is multiple accounts, is that something that it's on your roadmap?
No.
It's just too much hassle, too much difficulty.
I think it can be complicated for users too. It can be complicated for the user experience. If you have multiple accounts, then maybe the user can have problems to figure out which chat depends on which account.
Yeah.
And I think, as in my opinion, it's easier for users to have multiple clients for this task.
Does Ubuntu Touch make it easy to install multiple copies of the same app? Or is there something you could do there?
This is also possible. You need to change the app ID for this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also thinking about maybe create a little clone of FluffyChat for this task if someone has 3 accounts, for example, which he is using. Yes, so that's possible.
It's possible. I mean, just a case of changing the ID, I think. But what are the features that you're most proud of over the last year or so? Like, what features were most interesting to implement, or were most difficult, but you managed to do it?
So I'm very proud on the push notifications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it was very easy to implement, very hard to implement. And it was not easy because the difference with push notifications on Android is on Android, there is a documentation for it. On Ubuntu Touch, there a long time there wasn't a good documentation how to use them, and now there is a good documentation.
From you?
Yes, a little bit is from me about this. And also, I'm proud on the design, the user experience, because I wanted to create something that looks and feels like Telegram or WhatsApp. And I think that worked, more or less.
It's great. The design's really, really cool. And you've got themes already as well?
Yes, and you can choose a color for your chat bubbles or for your desktop wallpaper.
Right, okay. So what other ideas have you got for the roadmap on FluffyChat?
Yeah, it's basically end-to-end encryption because I think FluffyChat is more or less feature complete.
Right, okay.
Maybe in the future, voice chat and video calls can be a thing, but I think end-to-end encryption is much more important yet. And video chat can be complicated too.
Yeah, I mean, and making a UX to support that as well. I don't know if there's like, oops, oh god, I've broken my FluffyChat. So I don't know if there's like APIs on Ubuntu Touch for that kind of thing for video support, because I mean it's difficult to support that many devices to begin with. I don't know if there's like video playback or like WebRTC or APIs or something.
There is something like this, but I'm not very experienced yet with it, so it needs some time to implement such things.
I gather there's a new project that you have unrelated to FluffyChat, but still related to Matrix. Is this something that you're able to talk about at all?
Yes, we can talk about it.
Sure. Cool. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are you doing? What is the project? What are you able to share?
So it's a company from Berlin, a startup company who have contacted me because of FluffyChat. They are searching for Matrix developers, and they have found some. Also, there is JC and Marcel, from the developer from Simple Matrix.
Okay.
And the idea is to create a Matrix client for health organizations, a collaboration client based on Matrix, where health organizations can host their own service and their own Matrix server.
Yes.
And so health organizations can communicate through Matrix with this federation feature with each other.
Fantastic. Okay, so this startup, they decided they wanted to use Matrix, and they came to you because you were the FluffyChat developer.
Yes.
Like the best CV item ever is they just saw that you made a client already, and they wanted to hire you. So that's really, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what technologies will you be working on in the project? You're making a brand new client, but I take it not for Ubuntu Touch. I guess it'll be for Android and iOS only.
Yes, in fact, we are creating the client with Dart and Flutter. Flutter is a new platform independent framework for from Google for Android and iOS. And funny thing is, I will make the iOS part for it.
So I guess, so how are you breaking up the work? You're going to make a Dart or rather a Flutter Matrix SDK, and then try to produce two clients from the results, two different clients from the result?
And currently we are speaking with a guy who is creating a Dart SDK at the moment.
Yeah.
And also we have heard that the client Petal is currently switching to Dart and Flutter too, and maybe they will also create their own SDK, and so we can work with them together.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are multiple options for this.
It seems like a really good time for Flutter and Dart. Yeah, I feel like it's been there in the background for a while now, Flutter, but just in the last month or two, suddenly all I'm hearing about is that it's time to make a Flutter client or a Flutter SDK. Do you think that it's the right choice? There are other cross-platform solutions.
So I will always love QML, just for me, but Flutter is also great. Flutter is great because I can test the same app on Android and on iOS without any differences. It is the same app, it works the same, and it has the same code base. So it is working very well. And Dart is a very nice programming language. I'm also learning it. It's new for me too. And yes, I like it.
Well, I don't know anything about Dart. What languages would you compare it to?
Dart is similar to JavaScript, but also has some parts from C and C++.
Okay. So it's curly syntax, but what, functions first, or is it
object-oriented?
Object. Oh, it's like cross-between, like Go and JavaScript or something. Okay. I think it's time to pay a lot more attention to Dart and Flutter then in that case. Okay, that's super cool. So you haven't been working long on this project, I don't think. But cool. So the idea is they will make a federated network for medical providers, for hospitals and clinics and so on, servers, and a custom client, presumably with some lockdown, to be able to chat between them. And is it to be able to chat between the clinics, or to be able to chat with patients as well?
Not patients yet. It's for the clinics inside, for example, when the doctor and the nurse wants to talk with each other, they can send messages. And it's also that clinics can send messages to other clinics. Yes, we are thinking about implementing some bridges too, to can communicate with clinics which are not using this yet. Also, for example, an email bridge, and that's for me the most funny thing, a fax bridge.
Oh yeah, fax is huge. I mean, it wasn't until I started working, more closely with telecom stuff that fax is enormous. I didn't realize.
Yes, it's just an idea yet, but a lot of clinics and a lot of organizations in Germany are still using fax machines, and so matrix to fax bridge. It would be extremely funny for me.
That would be, I guess the simplest, quick way to do that would be to use an existing fax to email bridge and then bridge the results. But still, fax to matrix, I would love to chat more about that. That would be just the old and the new. All right, Christian, anything else to add?
Maybe I can tell something that is very interesting for some people who are thinking about switching to Ubuntu Touch, but are not doing this yet because there is no WhatsApp. That is one of the main arguments.
Yes.
I can say that the WhatsApp bridge is working very fine, and I'm using the WhatsApp bridge since a couple of days, and believe me, I can communicate, I can chat from FluffyChat with users who are using WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's really,
and this is working great.
Yeah.
Using the WhatsApp bridge bot and the WhatsApp bridge.
Okay.
And it also has push notifications. So come to Ubuntu Touch, we have cookies.
All right, Christian, thank you so much. It's Krille, it's Christian, and it's FluffyChat. And now it's
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you very much. Speak soon. Bye.